staff presentations, and I know a lot of work went into those. At this point, we're going to take public comment on both of the items that have been prepared here today. The adoption of the final environmental reports on the locally generated alternative here in Bakersfield, as well as this request that the board concur in the staff's designation of a state-preferred alternative for the Bakersfield to Palmdale section. I'm going to go through the comments in the order that I've received them, with the exception that we always afford our public officials the first opportunity. So I have, as far as I can see, 2 comments from public officials. First, I'd like to welcome Mr. Alan Tandy, the City Manager of the City of Bakersfield. And as you're coming to the microphone, I want to also express our appreciation to you for making the city's facilities available to us today. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, board members, and staff members, and welcome to California's 9th largest city and the point of delivery for your initial operating segment. Bakersfield is a success story for you and the High-Speed Rail Authority. In 2014, under previous board and previous staff and administration, local input was not regarded reasonably by the authority who was then in place. About 5 agencies, including the city, filed litigation. But that has evolved, and it has become a positive working relationship, a friendly and cooperative relationship. We have worked through dozens of meetings with impacted parties that were impacted by the supplemental EIR. We have worked through dozens and dozens of problems with respect to issues pertaining to design, compatibility. We've worked compatibly with your staff now on a long-term vision plan for downtown Bakersfield at the F Street location, and we now have a good relationship and a positive relationship. We all read newspaper stories that somebody doesn't greet you warmly in an initial segment. That happens, but we have here a story of turning failure into a complete success. The City of Bakersfield supports the adoption of the supplemental alignment. We appreciate the close working relationship we've established with the authority over the 4 years since the initial litigation was filed, and we're looking forward to working with your staff on the delivery point and the interstation and getting you your operating segment going. So thank you very much, and we appreciate your efforts.
Thank you, Mr. Tandy. And without jumping ahead of the vote that my colleagues and I will take, let me just say that we very much appreciate the working relationship that we've had with the City of Bakersfield and appreciate your leadership on this. So thank you. Next is the Mayor of the City of Palmdale, Honorable Jim Ledford. Mr. Mayor, good to see you again.
Good morning, authority members, Mr. Chairman. We appreciate the opportunity to speak. I can't tell you how excited we are about high-speed rail coming to the City of Palmdale. And I go back to 1993, our first meeting of the High-Speed Rail Commission in downtown LA. It's been a long road, but it's been a great road, and we've been able to work through lots of issues. I can tell you the latest announcement by Brightline, I think, brings an exciting component to this system. It really brings Palmdale as a convergent point of 2 high-speed rail systems are coming together in our city, and we're very, very excited about that. And when we look at things like a Palmdale to Burbank segment, we think that this may be a good P3 candidate, and possibly the Brightline might help move that process along as well. So I think that's something to look forward to. Our station planning work is underway. We appreciate the authority's engagement in that area, and certainly Michelle, we've worked her and run her hard, but she is keeping up. We appreciate that. Our airport's got some very exciting new news coming. I think our airport is going to be sooner than later, and we think certainly these systems are going to do nothing but promote that better intermodalism. So I think for us, we just want to show our appreciation. The dialogue, we've had to deal with some tough issues We've worked through a lot of those issues, and we look forward to continuing that dialogue and working relationship because, like I say, it's all coming to Palmdale, and we're just excited to be part of the process. So thank you for allowing us to be here today and speaking on behalf of our collective effort. Good work.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. Members of the general public, I'm going to ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes. We do have a number of citizens who wish to speak, and we'd like to be able to hear from all of you. So with that, we'll start with Steve Roberts. He'll be followed by Troy Hightower and Swanee Edwards.
Good morning, Chairman and Board. My name is Steve Roberts, and I'm representing the Rail Passenger Association of California, an all-volunteer organization focused on improved rail passenger service. First of all, I want to compliment the staff for all of their hard work in developing these two alternatives. They show some real creativity in moving through some of the challenges involved in them. Members of our group, we've reviewed the documents, and we recommend that the board approve both the Bakersfield locally generated alternative as well as the Bakersfield-Palmdale alternative 2. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Troy Hightower, then Swanee Edwards, then Ellen Scott.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board and staff. My name is Troy Hightower. I'm an independent transportation consultant here locally. Before I got started, I was asked to relay a comment from Kern Transportation Foundation. Their chair, Mr. Ron Brummett, wanted to come and make comments, but he wasn't able to make it. They're very brief. He just wanted to mention that the members of KTF have supported high-speed rail since the mid-1980s, and he was on the original High-Speed Rail Commission. And then also that KTF will continue to work with high-speed rail in the future and continue to evaluate the development of the system. Switching hats, I have 3 key comments I'd like to make. One is asking the board, as I mentioned in your August meeting in Sacramento, to consider an interim station downtown at the Amtrak station. The second key point is the response to comments. I did supply a written comment, and I did receive responses. And then finally, discussion about the comparison of the Fresno-Bakersfield to the LGA. The reasons that I'm recommending the downtown station, there's a number. Some of the key ones are, it was originally designed with overcapacity for high-speed rail. I think that's a key factor. Its location is downtown. By electrifying the existing track, it could be done in a cost-effective way and very timely. This is a list of what I call readiness for high-speed rail. And there's a number of reasons on here. Some of them are that it's direct connection to Amtrak's thruway bus service that goes to all of Southern California, the coast, Vegas, and could even connect to Palmdale, to the proposed Vegas high-speed rail. And it's also supported by the 10-year plan in the City of Bakersfield Station Area Plan. It's also been evaluated in the Fresno-Bakersfield EIR for interim service of just what I've mentioned, which could be not only electrifying the existing track, but could consider diesel or clean diesel high-speed rail service. Here I have a letter, copy of a letter from the City of Bakersfield dated in April 2016. The letter really focuses on opposing an interim station at Poplar, but it does mention, and I'm quoting now, as an additional option to consider is to electrify the adjacent BNSF Amtrak rail line in order to allow high-speed trains to continue to the existing Bakersfield Amtrak station on an interim basis.
Mr. Hightower,
Yes.
I know you're I know you're used to my situation in Sacramento where I basically don't run a clock, but today, we do have to do that. So
I'll try and wrap up real quick. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
can you do this in about 15 seconds, please?
Certainly.
I want to be fair to everybody.
Chapter 16, that was mentioned before, the changes to the document. It states in here that a majority of the comments made, 1,068, are from the generally support a station at Truxtun Avenue. And I would take certain exceptions to the comments made earlier by Mr. Environmentalist, that comments made by the public were considered just opinions and not substantive. I think that's a bad signal to send to the public. I think it's important that the public participates in these processes, and I disagree with that statement.
Understood. Thank you,
Thank
sir. Next is Swanee Edwards. I hope I got that right. And then
You
Alan
did,
Scott.
thank you.
Mhm.
My name is Swanee Edwards. I'm a community activist and political operative in Santa Clara County. I'm not here to talk about this particular alignment. I was invited to come down for this meeting and tour the existing construction sites and get a good idea of what's involved to take back to Morgan Hill, where I actually live. I'm the grandmother of 7, and I'm concerned about my grandchildren's future. I think that from what I've seen, this project, the Phase 1, isn't near ready to conceivably start generating revenue for at least another 4 or 5 years. And the other thing that kind of blew my mind is that these little pieces of construction are just kind of sitting out there. I've watched so many videos at community group meetings and I've tried to get so much information about what's really going on here because my opinions opposed to this high-speed rail project are strong and deep. And the videos are well done. You see all these men out there just working away and everything. But what I saw yesterday was maybe a dozen workers on a bridge, but the rest of the segments were absolutely deserted. The other thing that concerned me, especially for Morgan Hill, where the valley is only 3 miles wide, in South Santa Clara County, is the actual footprint of the construction site itself. It's horrific. It will destroy our quality of life, our 2 cities, our small valley, and my mind is pretty blown about the information I'm going to take back. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Edwards. Alan Scott, followed by Tina McIntyre, and then Jerry Van Kuren, it looks like.
Good morning, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Scott, good morning.
Board. I have 2 things to say. Yesterday, I woke up to 2 articles from the Sacramento Bee that have no favorability to what's going on today and with the high-speed rail. I don't know how many items I have, but I could probably stack them about this high right now in the last 6 months of where the negativity is not working well for you folks at all. I'm just going to say that you're over 3.8, over 3.0 billion in debt. You said it was 2.8 a while back, but I'm sure it's more than that right now. Where the funding is going to come from, wherever it's going to come, I don't think it's going to come from anyone other than our taxpayers. And we can't afford it. We just cannot afford it. I don't know what you people are seeing, but when I go and look online and find out how much the funded and unfunded debt is for the state of California, it's not good. The second thing is, you guys have been at it for 10 years, and nothing's connected to nothing. And that's shameful. And with that, I'll say thank you very much, and good luck.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. Tina McIntyre, followed by Jerry Van Kuren, and then Carol Bender.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Tina McIntyre, General Manager of Marketing and Government Affairs. And on behalf of Cal Portland Company, I'm here to convey our strong opposition to selection of Alternative 2 as the state-preferred alternative route. We have submitted an official letter to Chairman Richard and the members of the board outlining our official position on this matter. Alternative 2 crosses through the middle of current and future mining operations on CalPortland's land. Our detailed review of Alternative 2 determined that it will result in severe financial, safety, and environmental issues. CalPortland is one of the largest businesses in the local community. The Mojave Cement Plant and quarries have been operating since 1955. We have the equivalent of 200 full-time employees and contractors. Under the Alternative 2 alignment and necessary safety buffers, CalPortland would suffer approximately 25 years of lost mine and plant life and a gross revenue loss of $5 billion. The effects of this revenue loss would not only affect CalPortland, but also the workers at the plant and quarries, the Mojave community, downstream customers such as ready-mix concrete producers, building product manufacturers, oil field service companies that are familiar to this area, but also Caltrans paving projects and any other consumers of cement who could be forced to pay higher prices in a less competitive cement market. The route is not feasible from an engineering, environmental, and safety perspective. CalPortland Mojave quarries are surface mines with active pits running approximately 1,000 feet below the surface. Alternative 2 calls for the construction of portions of the route adjacent to existing pits and within the safety buffer zone. The blasting exclusion zone shown in the proposed tunnel design for Alternative 2 are only 220 feet to either side of the train. This is simply inadequate to protect the train. CalPortland recommends a 2,000-foot buffer zone between the rail line and quarries, as fly rock from mining blast areas can strike the rail tracks or trains, resulting in potential derailment and other significant hazards, including fatalities. We are aware of one recent fatality to a mine pickup truck driver from fly rock that came through the truck's roof while the driver was parked only 1,200 feet from the blast zone. CalPortland simply has not seen any documentation indicating that Alternative 2 was developed in a manner that would avoid this hazard. We look forward to working with the High-Speed Rail Authority to assist in avoiding the significant issues that Alternative 2 proposes. Thank you.
Thank you for those comments. I assure you we will take them quite seriously. Jerry Van Kuren, followed by Carol Bender, and then Michael Turnipseed.
Good morning. My name is Jerry Van Kuren. Pardon me, I'm a little nervous here. I own a building at, it's a 15,000 square foot office building at 2623 F Street. And I'm concerned that the traffic exiting and entering this new facility is going to be harmful to us. I'm not against the project. What I am against is I think one of the thoughts is creating another lane going south on F Street by eliminating the left turn lanes, and that would be really disastrous for the property owners in there and also the businesses along there. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Carol Bender, followed by Michael Turnipseed, and then Todd Turley.
Good morning. My name is Carol Bender. I am a citizen of Bakersfield. I'm not affiliated with any group. I've been involved in this public process, studying the proposals and submitting comments for over 10 years. And originally, the High-Speed Rail Authority only fully studied 3 alternatives that were just a few hundred feet apart from each other. And I would have preferred a few more studies. But here we are with 2 to compare. And it's a choice of which alignment is the better of 2 imperfect choices. And when assessing the impacts, I won't go over what Mr. McLaughlin talked about because he's pretty clear. But when assessing those, one can't overlook the fact that with regard to residential displacements, there's 78% fewer on the LGA. And with regard to important farmlands, nearly 25% fewer. That is significant. And given the climate of California's economic and political situation, there's no guarantee that this alignment will ultimately even reach the Bakersfield station. Perhaps at best, the F Street location may be the southern terminus of the high-speed rail. Given that, the LGA alignment is the one that makes the most sense and creates the fewest impacts to our community. And it'll allow for us to expand our downtown area and have plenty of time for future planning. Having 70-plus feet viaducts going through the middle of our town on the original 2014 proposed alignment on the BNSF, and having those viaducts potentially be in place for decades, perhaps forever, until the money is found, if ever, to attach to the Palmdale section, is just unacceptable. It makes absolutely no sense. What I would say in conclusion, in talking about the carry over into the next segment, I would hope that the board would look very closely at the homeless center. Right now, they're scrambling and would like to expand. We know we have an extreme situation with the homeless in California. Since it will be in the path regardless of what is chosen on the Palmdale section, if that property could be purchased so that they can move and expand, would further our community greatly. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Bender, and stay tuned on the homeless shelter. I think you'll be hearing something on that soon. Michael Turnipseed, followed by Todd Turley, and then I'm hoping I'm reading it. Terry Maxwell, Terry McFall, I'm not quite sure. But anyway, Mr. Turnipseed? He did? Okay. Todd Turley? Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to provide comments on this supplemental EIR. My name is Todd Turley. I represent Farmland Reserve, Inc., which owns approximately 1,300 acres of pistachio trees that will be bifurcated by the Fresno to Bakersfield Locally Generated Alternative Alignment, or F Street route. We believe the originally selected preferred route, the BNSF alignment, best balances all impacts and provides the best route. We strongly recommend the High-Speed Rail Authority to stick with the BNSF alignment for this segment of the line. If, however, the F Street route is ultimately selected, it would split our pistachio operations, leaving hundreds of acres of mature and producing trees on opposite sides of the rail line. This would disrupt our state-of-the-art irrigation system and place a significant and costly burden on our farming operation. Most importantly, it would create a significant public safety hazard. Anytime we need to work on the other side of our farm, workers, trucks, and other various farm equipment would have to be transported via Burbank Street after accessing the only currently planned underpass in the area. Burbank Street is ultimately planned to become the North Beltway, a major 6-lane highway which would not provide safe transport of our employees and equipment, nor the traveling public. We attempted to resolve this matter with staff, but were deferred to the appraisal process. However, we strongly recommend that the matter be addressed now, and that 1, conduits be placed along the rail line sufficient to maintain all services to the bifurcated sections of our farm, and 2, agricultural underpasses be constructed and included in the design of the rail line as shown on this map. And we have provided a copy of the map to staff. These underpasses, away from busy highways, will significantly reduce the impact to our farming operation, maintain wildlife migration corridors, and most importantly, protect the safety of our workers and the public at large. Thank you. And I would like to submit a copy of the comments and map for the record.
Absolutely. If you could give it to the gentleman here. Thank you, Mr. Turley.
Thank you.
I apologize because I didn't bring my reading glasses, so it's the person who lives on Pine Street. Sir, I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's my fault for not writing it very plainly.
I wasn't going to say that, but I'll just take the blame.
I can be self-effacing.
Could you introduce yourself for the record, since I've done such a poor job of doing that?
Chairman Richards, good to see you again. My name's Terry Maxwell.
That's what I thought.
And I am a former city councilman here at the City of Bakersfield. As a matter of fact, I was part of the group that that voted to sue your authority. If I knew then what I know today, I would not have agreed to sue you. In 2014, you got it right. You absolutely got it right. We got it wrong. If this is going to be about cost, if this is going to be about impact, then I've got a better alternative for you. Bypass Bakersfield completely, because that wouldn't cost you hardly anything. But if this is really about putting a station in the Bakersfield area that you want to be successful, that you want to put in a place that is going to generate ridership, economic impact, and benefit the city of Bakersfield, there's only one place to put it, and that's on Truxtun Avenue. Right now, Truxtun Avenue has got 50% of the things that you want. It's already got other modes of transportation that it can hook up to. It already has hotels. It has a convention center. It has everything you need within walking distance of where you're going to put that station. Over 50% of what you want already exists. The F Street location, zero. Nothing of what you need exists at F Street. Not a thing. Go there and look at it. Transportation-wise, you can't get there. You just can't get to the F Street location. It's not an easy place to get to, even after they do some of this construction. If it's on Truxtun Avenue, it's right down the street from where we're at right now. You could walk there from here. You could have come your high-speed rail to get to this meeting. If you took the F Street, you would have a tough time getting from F Street to here. So pretend you're not on this board right now, and you're just a resident or business owner in the downtown area of Bakersfield, and you have submitted 1,000 comments saying, we don't want it on F Street. It's a poor location. I was born and raised here in 1954. I've seen Bakersfield grow. F Street is a horrible location for this. You've got a relatively small number of people and a relatively single-focused city manager and city council that is trying to convince you F Street's a good location. It's not. Put it on Truxtun. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Maxwell. Tony Emirante, followed by Leanne Eager, and then Marvin Dean.
Good morning. My name is Tony Emirante. Thank you for this opportunity to speak to you. I'd like to support putting the train station where it's supposed to go, down on Truxtun Avenue, where the Amtrak is now. I hear the city say that if they have to put the train station down on Truxtun Avenue, then when they have to move the corporation yard. And I also hear the city saying that they want to develop downtown, revitalize it, make it more attractive to people. Well, you already have a train station on Truxtun. Can't you just, there's a vacant lot up there on F Street and 30th. Can't you just put the garbage trucks and the street sweepers up there in that vacant lot, and then, you'd have people coming into downtown to work, and you'd have the train station, and sorry to be so nervous here, but I'm just a private citizen, and I think it's important to Bakersfield and all of California that we connect Bakersfield to the economic orbit of Los Angeles so that people that live here could work an hour away, and, you can get a house in Bakersfield for a reasonable price compared to what you get in Southern California. It's a big lot, lots of, it's better. And I just think the best place to put the train station would be down on Truxtun Avenue, put the corporation yard over on F Street, and I'm not even from Bakersfield. I was born in Brooklyn, New York. I think it's a good idea.
Thank you. Leanne Eager, and then Marvin Dean.
Good morning. I'm Leanne Eager. I'm President and CEO of Fresno County Economic Development Corporation, and I'm always pleased to come to support my friends here in Bakersfield, my friends in Palmdale. I'm excited that the clock is starting now for the preferred alternative out to Palmdale. But I also want to give you a quick little summary of a trip that we took that we just got back a couple of weeks ago, and that was to Germany. Excuse me. The Fresno Works group with our training and education team went to go look at training facility in Germany. We also were accompanied by the folks in Palmdale who are honorary members of the Fresno Works. We looked at a training facility in Frankfurt, and I was so excited about the work that they were doing there in getting young people excited about high-speed rail, getting young people excited about the work that they were going to be doing. And we want to make sure that we bring that to the Valley. The woman that spoke about no one working on the system, obviously she hasn't been in Fresno because there are people up and down that alignment every single day. I have to drive around them all the time, I know. But we want to make sure that our local people are getting hired. So we did go to the training facility there. We went to numerous cities to look at stations. Palmdale and Fresno wanted to make sure we're going to do this right, so we looked at stations. We looked at station area planning. What does that mean? We had two really great highlights, at least two for me. One, I was able to drive a train. The new Siemens ICE 4 that no one had ever touched before. I was the first person to drive that train, and no one was killed. So that's a good thing. The other thing is we went to this small town called Kending, and we talked to the mayor there. And the mayor in Kending fought and fought and fought for years to have a high-speed rail station. And it's a tiny little town, and people said, "What, are you crazy?" And the reason was not because she wanted industry to come there. It wasn't because she wanted to build around the station. It was for the young people of her city. They were leaving, and they weren't coming back. And she needed to give them a way to be able to stay in her city. And so they built the station, and now they have a new generation of people that are staying in their community. And certainly that's one of the things that we look at here, right? As our folks graduate from, whether it's Bakersfield or Fresno State, we want to keep them here. But I have to tell you real quick, the most exciting thing, and this is where my high-speed rail nerd comes in, is that the city of Kending was where the video is, where they did the test for the fastest high-speed train in the entire world. And we saw the video, and all the people were waiting and cheering when I was standing on that platform in Germany, the exact same one where the train came in. So, and I know the folks in Palmdale said, "You are the biggest high-speed rail nerd in the entire planet," because I'm the one that knew about that. So thank you for attending, though. That was great. Thank you.
No, I was just looking at something. Okay, thank you, Ms. Eager. Marvin Dean?
Good morning. My name is Marvin Dean. I'm the president of the Current Minority Contractors Association, and I'm your BAC Business Advisory Council member here in Bakersfield. And I want to welcome the board members and thank you for holding this meeting in Bakersfield. But let me dissect for a minute before I get into the rest of my presentation. And this is to the leadership of Bakersfield City and County. We really need to follow the leadership of what Leanne Eager is doing in Fresno, championing jobs, local jobs, and contracting, and doing an amazing thing in terms of bringing money into their city with high-speed rail. So I'm asking those of us, those that live here in the leadership, economic development, please check on what she's doing and adopt some of that here in Bakersfield. We need that kind of spirit here. I'm here to, first of all, say, at this point, I'm okay with either location, just so we get this doggone thing built. And then I would have preferred downtown for a lot of reasons, but I can live with the F Street station. And then my only thing would be to say at this point is, once the final decision has been made on the route, let's do early acquisition of the property of the people that's going to be affected for the right-of-way. Not only the homeless center, but I know a lot of the people that are affected. They've got plans for the development of their projects, and they just need some stability as to if the project is going to come there, they need to move on with their lives so that they can plan their developments and not have the property tied up, because they're not going to make any more investments in those properties until the decision is made. And then what it also will do for us As you all know, I ain't got to tell you guys, one of the reasons why you're hopscopping around from Fresno coming this way is you haven't acquired all the right-of-way, and it's been a really challenge for you to do the right-of-way. So we don't want to make that, and when you do that, cost runs up. So if you get into an early acquisition of the property once you finalize those routes, you will find some people willing to sell because they want to move on with their lives. So we need a land bank and start preparing so that the next time we get put in a phase of construction, we won't have to wait on acquiring the land and also having the contractors to skip around and try to do development in a kind of a patch way. That's why the lady talked about probably when they came, rode the route, you only see different parts of construction going on instead of a straight line where you got full sections built out because of the challenge you have by not acquiring all that property. So let's learn from our mistakes early on. And I'm a big champion and supporter of high-speed rail. Been doing this for years. And again, I want to say that I know you guys got a lot of challenges, but keep up the good work and carry on and just push right ahead. And then I want to say to Callie Bryan, I know he took a leave of absence because of his, some sickness or something, so I wish him and pray his early recovery because he's one of the best CEOs we're going to have. So wish him well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dean. Okay, that concludes the public comment period. I want to thank everybody for coming and sharing your comments with us. As part of this process, the staff would be responding to public comments. They've asked for a few minutes to get their responses together. They asked for 15. I'm giving them 10. And while they're doing that, I'm going to skip down to the